Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, clearly, this was in total breach of the Constitution. So this order in itself is unconstitutional, Mr. Speaker. So I support that this order be declared null and void by this House. And therefore I support. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also join the Committee of Delegated Legislation, or rather let me support the report of Committee on Delegated Legislation on recommending to nullify in its entirety the privileges and immunities the Global Center for Adaptation Order published as Legal Notice number 82 of 2025, based on the facts that have been presented to us by my good friend, the MP for Gishugu, who happens to be a member of the committee. And Honorable Speaker, for record purposes, I was a member of the committee in the last term, but this time I've not been a member of the committee. Honorable Speaker, the Global Center for Adaptation is an international organization that was established as part of the Paris Agreement on climate change resilience and climate change management. Its headquarters is in the Netherlands, and of course the fundamental questions that we need to start asking: to what extent, whether there is a diplomatic mission or not, that's a question we need to answer, and probably in the fullness of time, we need to have to ascertain that particular notice. But Honorable Speaker, the mere fact that the State Department for Foreign Affairs proceeded to publish and enforce the order without the approval of Parliament is the highest level of impunity, is the highest level of breach of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, truth be told then, whoever appended his signature or her signature in getting the order published breached the Constitution, acted unconstitutionally, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, is liable for a sanction probably under the various articles of the Constitution of Kenya, because you cannot purport to be a public servant who have sworn to uphold the Constitution, and you are the very first person to disregard the provisions of the Constitution and proceed to publish the order and get it enforced. I would want to challenge the committee. I can see the chair and the vice chair are in animated discussion. You need to ask whoever signed and published the order to really come and account for that unconstitutional edict. To be honest, we cannot allow that level of impunity to prevail and go unpunished. That is unacceptable in the modern day. Honorable Speaker, we tend to favor these diplomatic missions even beyond what we do to our own people, who slug out day and night to get things moving. And I want to commend the committee for having stood up. I'm sure there must have been a lot of pressure from the executive or other corners to get it passed. But at least for the very first time, your side had the courage to say no and to uphold the constitutional provisions. Honorable Speaker, we even ask Kenyans, when we go out of this country, for either to work or not, I've been to very many missions, talking to diplomats there, and they're very clear in their views. They say they have to comply with the laws of the country. The diplomatic immunities that are accorded is only for the mainstream diplomatic missions that are truly and purely accredited by that country. And whichever way, there are some things that are a no-goes on. Things about taxation, things about having immunity against criminal action is something that is beyond. This cannot be entertained in those countries. Why us here in Kenya, we allow that kind of a thing to happen and then let these foreigners go scot-free is baffling. It's just a continuous act of dereliction of duty for those people charged with those offenses. Honorable Speaker, there are very many times foreigners commit offenses, they're scripted away at night, so that by the time they have to answer for those offenses, you are told they're no longer in the country. As I stand here today, Honorable Speaker, the man who was being beaten in Eldoret by the Chinese comes from my constituency. I asked a question here. They have never received an answer. The gentleman was badly injured. Nobody has ever bothered to attend to them. In this disguised view that we want foreigners to invest in our own country. As Baba Mo used to say, nobody will come from anywhere to develop this country. We have to do it ourselves. And if we have to do it ourselves, we must be extremely hard on these foreign investors who come to with nothing most important to invest and get us done, get moving. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge the committee to remain courageous in view of the intimidation normally have to receive. Remain courageous, and God will forever remember that you existed and probably saved this country from one of these funny things that is going to happen. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The member for Marsabit.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to this very important debate. And from the onset, I support this motion. And Honorable Speaker, I support it because of the experience that we are having in this country of late, and even in the past, because many of our citizens have suffered in the hands of foreigners. And I support this because the committee has made the right observation. And I like what they have said. Number 4, having examined the Privileges and Immunities Global Center for Adaptation, Order 2025, Legal Notice number 82 of 2025, in accordance with the Constitution, the Interpretation and General Provision Act Cap 2, the Statutory Instrument Act Cap 22A, and the Privileges and Immunity Act Cap 179. The committee recommends that the House declares Privileges and Immunities Global Center for Adaptation, Order 2025, Legal Notice number 82 of 2025, nullity for failure to adhere to Section 17 of the Privileges and Immunities Act. This, Honorable Speaker, is a serious gap that the committee members have observed. And I want to congratulate the members of this committee for standing in the gap and salvaging the situation. Honorable Speaker, if we cannot nullify this today, many Kenyans will suffer in the hands of foreigners who come in the pretense of investing in this country, starting companies that can employ our young people, and at the end of the day, many Kenyans suffer in their hands. The example that many honorable members have referred to is something that has moved the entire nation and the entire world. And just remembering the number of our young people who have been maybe infected by that particular Russian man is a story that will affect us for the rest of our lives. And many families, and I know many young people, many women today may be depressed of this. Honorable Speaker, we know very well that many investors have come and have mistreated members or citizens of this country. Some have even taken some very important documents from them, hidden their identity cards, their passports, mistreated them, used them as their workers, social workers or workers, and at the end of the day, without even paying them. And Honorable Speaker, nullifying this will save this country and also will give us our pride that we need. And with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Thank you. Member for Gases.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also rise in support of the report of the Delegated Legislation Committee on the privileges and immunities, the Global Center for Adaptation, Order number 2025. And from the onset, Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the recommendation of the committee in rejection, in annulling in totality this particular order that was developed and published by the executive in absence of what the law has guided, that all the laws-making procedures is vested in this House, and the instruments of power as guided on the same. Mr. Speaker, this one is just a troubleshooting, and it could be inviting this House to extend its role in ensuring that we carry out an audit to establish all the instruments that are being used to run these organizations, to run the ministries. Because if this thing was done in silence, in contravention with the law, and was already deemed to be giving out powers to a foreign person, in this case, the Global Center for Adaptation, powers to up to including contravening the Tax Procedures Act, where all powers on exemption of taxation, as per the Tax Procedures Act, is now in the office of the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, of course in consultation with the relevant ministries when a matter arises. But all the powers are in the hands of the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury. But already looking at this instrument, it was already subverting that power and giving out an advantage, a privilege to a foreign entity. And most of this issue is coming up because of the current occurrence in our nation, where we've seen friends who have been invited to the nation, friends who have come in goodwill. Some of them have come to facilitate the foreign direct investments. Some of them have come to give services in support of what government is doing in addressing the social needs of the people. But they end up abusing these particular privileges to carry on their interest, up to including exploiting our children in terms of the information that is not warranted for our young people, exploiting our women, exploiting our population in terms of labor. Some of them have come employing our people, using them beyond the limits without proper compensation, and even to an extent of coercing, an extent of subjecting them through stress, subjecting them through behaviors that our employment laws are totally against, just by virtue of the cover they've been giving. So with this one, I want to say that this House has done the right thing. I want to thank the Committee on Delegated Legislation, I see the Vice Chair is here, that they are doing the right thing, so that it's able to alert this House, so that we be keen. And remember, this House is established to protect the interest of Kenyans against all odds. And for this purpose, it is high time that the ministries, led by this ministry, should do the right thing, invoke this House, because it's only this House guided by Article 118 that they can undertake proper public participation and public sensitization, stakeholder engagement, so that we're able to balance and don't cede out the privileges for our people at the expense of foreigners. So I want to support this particular motion and to say this serves as an example. We need to go further beyond here so that we safeguard the interests of Kenyans. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Baringo, what happened to your card? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and sorry for not having my card ready for this time. Mr. Speaker, I also want to join my colleagues in supporting the work of the committee, and specifically Honorable Gishimu for moving this, because, Mr. Speaker, I keenly read this report, and I'm shocked that someone in the echelons of power or executive would even think for once that he can just break the law with all the disregard of even bringing this draft to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I was so keen in the schedule of the Act, which was rejected by the committee, and this exemption of certain taxes and duties, and inviolability of premise and official archives, and even the immunity from suit and legal process. Mr. Speaker, this is a very dangerous organization. You can imagine someone seeking not to be subjected to any law of this country or of the land of Kenya, just because you probably want to do something that is unimaginable. And many times, Mr. Speaker, I think for once Africans should be happy being Africans. We don't have to hate, we don't have to look forward to be associating so much ourselves to these whites and imagining that they can do a lot of better things than us. And if you read history, you realize the industrialization and civilization of the world actually started in Africa. So I think I want to thank the committee for once because of refusing to be coerced and standing and protecting Kenyans by refusing this order to go through. Mr. Speaker, in previous times, I come from Baringo, and there was this runaway acceptance of global climate solution, sort of, where someone, I think it was from Canada or Brazil or wherever, decided that during Moi's time to come and help people of Baringo from mitigating desertification. And they brought this wild plant called madenge, which was accepted probably those days. But the adverse problems is being felt by the people who are not there and who did not make the decisions. So when someone makes a decision today, it doesn't affect them probably now. But when you're out of office, it is going to affect people who are very innocent. And it is very important for us as a member of parliament to continue protecting the people of Kenya and allowing things that can actually progress through the law. And also, I want to also thank the committee because the section of the privilege and immunities must pass through parliament. As long as this draft or this order did not pass parliament, it should not be allowed. And I hope the executive are not going to sneak this as a part of the privileges they have also, because they are feeling that their offices are important. Mr. Speaker, other issues, just like the way members have been complaining about the Russia and this Russia guy or this Russia man, I can't imagine the impact that he left. The terror that went through people's houses, the emotions that created through these young women or these exposed women, the problems that they are facing now in the society, the judgmentals and all those kind of things. Just because we allowed someone to run around, take photos, and up to this point, we have never seen a proper actionable, reasons or someone to take up and give us reasons why this guy, how did he even land in Kenya and what was he doing? And so that we are able to protect ourselves. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the way Africans generally behave, we are so welcoming and we always attract such kind of characters. And this is one of the reasons I want to thank the committee for studying firm and with finality nullifying this order to proceed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support the committee.
For Mungi Central, want to contribute to this?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this bill. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the report by the Delegated Legislation Committee on their report on the privileges and immunities regulations for foreigners and foreign missions. Mr. Speaker, I would like to support the annulment of these regulations because they are against the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which states that no one is above the law in Kenya. Anybody can sue and anybody can be sued in Kenya except the President of Kenya when he's in power. Further, Mr. Speaker, the fact that the regulations were allowing exemption of taxes, this is contrary to the law, and anybody in Kenya earning a salary in Kenya must pay taxes in Kenya so that we can run our country effectively. And this, Mr. Speaker, will have opened a Pandora's box for others to join in and misuse their power and exploit other Kenyans on some of these exemptions. Mr. Speaker, this House should set a good example for those in power and for those in the executive, that you cannot wake up one morning and prepare your regulations to suit yourself and your friends and your cronies, so that in the future, they should know that there is a House of Parliament which makes laws and approves regulations. Mr. Speaker, to make such kind of regulations without consultation to Parliament, without public participation, is indeed usurping your powers to circumvent the law. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, this was illegal and should be treated as such. And therefore, let this annulment by the Delegated Legislation Committee set an example to those in the executive to abide by the rule of law in Kenya. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. There being no other interest on this, I would like to call upon the move of the Honorable Gichim to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I want also to take this opportunity as I reply to thank all the members of Parliament who have contributed and supported this motion. Actually, there is no single member who has opposed it. And just to indicate and to clarify to Honorable Oundo that the mandate of the Committee on Delegated Registration is limited and, or actually is provided under Standing Order number 210, 3 and 4. And the best that this committee can do is, after scrutinizing the statutory instruments, is to recommend approval where compliance to the law and the requisite procedures has been met or have been met, and to recommend an annulment by this House, which we have done, whereby the requisite law, the Constitution, and the standing orders have not been followed. So that is the limit of our mandate, and actually we've done what has been provided for under the standing orders. So I also thank the committee for being the gatekeeper of the Kenyan citizens through this parliament, that all the regulations, all the statutory instruments that are brought before this House through Parliament must also follow the law. And as a parting, as I finish, Honorable Speaker, it has also come to our knowledge as a Committee on Delegated Legislation that there are instances that the executive and some regulatory making bodies, they do what they normally call internally as directives, and those directives have a force of law. We want to caution them that anything that has been made and has a force of law, with even consequences, that if you don't obey, you are supposed to face some consequences or some penalties. Those are statutory instruments, and they should be brought to Parliament for consideration as provided by the Parent Act under which they are made. So, Honorable Speaker, without much ado, I beg to reply. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, and honorable members, for obvious reasons, we defer the putting of the question on that particular motion to the next time listed in the order paper. Next order.
Order number 14, motion, consideration of a petition regarding discrimination by the Teacher Service Commission on career progression guidelines for special needs education teachers in Kenya. Resumption of debate.
Members, debate on this motion started on yesterday, actually. And so if there's any member who has interest on this, if there's no interest on this, then I would order that the next time it comes up, the mover is called upon to reply. Next order.
Order number 15, motion, 7th report on the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Board for the financial years 2016-17 to 2021-2022.
Are you ready to proceed with this? I see you got a number of them today.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I request that you allow me to move this motion next week because I was not fully prepared for this. And based on the members present, I have one member here who can second me, but we are not prepared to move the motion today. We thought it was too far in the order paper. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I would imagine that now you are informed about this, but then we stand down that order 15. Next order. Is it the same for? Oh, go ahead.
Order number 16, motion, 8th report on the audited accounts of the National Government Affirmative Action Fund for the financial years 2016-2017 to 2021-2022.
Is it the same?
Same, Mr. Speaker.
For the comments of the House, could you please call order 18 first?
Order number 18, motion, 9th report on the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for constituencies in Nakuru County for the financial years 2013-14 to 2021 and 2022.
Honorable Mulungi, this is
It's the same, Mr.
the
Speaker.
same matter. So
Yes,
orders 18, 16, 16 and 18 are stood over until next time they're in the order paper. Let's go back to order number 17. Let's go back to order number 17. Go to order number 17.
Order number 17, motion, report on the audited accounts for the Judiciary Mortgage Scheme Fund for the financial years 2011-2012 to 2021 to 2022.
Is the chairperson in the House? Who is the chairperson? Oh yeah, Honorable Fatuma had indicated that I think Ramadan, so she won't be around. Going to over generally. Next order. Next order, please.
Order number 19, the Energy Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 42 of 2023, second reading.
The Honorable Vicaria, you got 18 minutes. You able to move in those minutes? Okay, go ahead.
Not a very big issue. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Energy on the Energy Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 42 of 2023. Honorable Speaker, the bill seeks to amend the Energy Act, Cap 314, by introducing a new section, 134A, to regulate energy purchase agreement and power purchase agreements entered into between power producer and electricity buying entities such as Kenya Power. The main objective of the bill, Honorable Speaker, is to enhance transparency, accountability, and prudent financial management in the procurement of electric power and to protect consumers from inflated electricity costs arising from non-transparent contracts. Honorable Speaker, the bill was published on the 30th October 2023 and read for the first time on the 24th April 2025. It was thereafter committed to the Departmental Committee pursuant to Standing Order number 127. In compliance with Article 118, Honorable Speaker, of the Constitution, the committee invited public participation and received submissions from the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum and stakeholders in the energy sector. In compliance with Article 1181B of the Constitution and Standing Order number 127.3, through the placement of adverts in the print media on 15th May 2025, the National Assembly invited the public and interested stakeholders to submit memoranda on the proposed amendment. Honorable Speaker, by close of business on the 28th Wednesday, May 2025 at 5 p.m., the committee did not receive any memorandum on the bill. Honorable Speaker, the committee invited Minister of Energy and Petroleum for a meeting on the 29th July 2025 to give their comments and proposals on the bill. In addition to the committee invited other stakeholders, including Or Power 4, Kipeto Energy PLC, Socian Energy Limited, and Lake Turkana Wind Power Limited for a meeting to give their comments and proposals on the bill. It is important to note that out of the stakeholders invited, apart from the ministry, only Socian Energy Limited appeared before the committee. Honorable Speaker, the committee carefully reviewed the bill clause by clause and considered all views received. Honorable Speaker, after considering the bill, the committee made the following key observation. 1, the bill refers only to energy purchase agreement. However, in practice, Honorable Speaker, Kenya Power enters into both energy purchase agreements and power purchase agreements. The two are different. Power is measured in megawatts, while energy is measured in megawatts per hour. The law must therefore clearly cover both to avoid ambiguity. Secondly, the proposed section 134A2 restates principles of public finance that are already provided for in the Constitution and other existing laws. The committee found this as unnecessary duplication. Thirdly, the proposed subsection 134A3 introduces procurement and feasibility study requirements that are already covered under the existing frameworks, such as the Least Cost Power Development Plan and the Public-Private Partnership Framework. The committee noted that retaining these provisions may create legal conflicts and delay energy projects. Mr. Speaker, in view of this observation, the committee recommended that the House approves the bill with amendments. The key amendments proposed are: 1, to introduce a clear definition of energy purchase agreement to include both energy and power purchase agreements. 2, delete Section 2 to avoid duplication of constitutional principles. 3, to delete Section 3 to avoid legal conflict and unnecessary delays in procurement. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, to provide a transitional clause requiring existing agreement to comply with the law, with the new law within 6 months of commitment. Honorable Speaker, energy is a backbone of our economy. It affects industries, small businesses, households, and all the overall cost of living. While transparency and accountability in energy contracts are essential, we must also ensure that our laws are clear, consistent, and workable. The committee believes that the proposed amendment strengthens the bill to align it with existing law frameworks while protecting public interest. I therefore urge honourable members to support the report of the committee and approve the bill with the proposed amendment. Honorable Speaker, this is an amendment that came from the Senate and proposed by Honorable Sifuna, Senator Sifuna. He was trying to clean, but when we looked at the bill, as I've indicated, Honorable Speaker, it actually was a repetition of already the existing laws that are already there. And other than an exception of only one clause that we were bringing to the amendment on the definition to include both energy and power purchase agreement, Honorable Speaker, all the other proposals that he had proposed, we thought it was just a duplication and it might bring some conflict in future if allowed to go through. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and ask my brother to second. Mheshimiwa Gishimo Wakili, asante.
Okay, we don't know he was your brother, but yeah, brother, Honorable Gishimo.
Honorable Speaker, in our custom, we call men of almost the same age brothers. So I believe that is where he is coming from. So, Honorable Speaker, let me second. I rise to second this bill, which has been moved by Honorable Gikaria. And Honorable Speaker, the committee has carefully considered the amendments that came from one of the members of the Senate, Honorable Sifuna, and thought is wise that there is no need to pass the amendments as they are in the bill, because that would amount to a lot of duplication on the existing laws already. And Honorable Speaker, the part that requires definition, which has been creating confusion and probably jeopardizing and compromising the consumers in terms of the power which is built. I think this is a debate that has also has found its way into this House through various members. I remember the Honorable Member for Laikipia, Honorable Jane Kagiri, brought up this matter, and which even went to the Energy Committee. It was deliberated there. Actually, the report was even brought to this committee. And Honorable Gikaria has picked it from there. Actually, through that amendment, now that issue will be resolved. And to be fair to the existing agreements, the partners or the parties to the existing agreement, that exit clause is very, very important, so that, because law does not act retrospectively. So there could be some timelines they had already given themselves in those agreements. So that exit clause is also very, very important, and it ensures there is fairness even to the existing parties in those agreements. So, Honorable Speaker, since it's just one main clause with the sub-clauses that is being sought to be amended, I don't need to go beyond that point. I beg to second. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Members, I propose the question that the Energy Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 42 of 2023, be now read a second time. The Honorable Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also join my colleague in supporting the Energy Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 45 of 2023, and has moved with the proposed amendments. And let me also commend the Secretary General of the biggest party, Edwin Sifuna, for having thought through it so that it comes through this bill that has found its way here. Honorable Speaker, and today I was in an engagement with the Cabinet Secretary in charge of industry, and one of the questions that we rose and we discussed with him was the cost of energy. and probably Honorable Gikari, you need to educate the uneducated. I've never known the difference between energy and power. I thought our words can be used interchangeably. But you have said the difference is only the units of measurement, where the difference is. As I go to take a cup of uji with our lab president Uhuru Kenyatta told us, I'll ask the engineers to explain for me the difference, because I know you're not an engineer in that line. You are a Catholic like me. So, Honorable Speaker, the issue of cost of power.
Catholic engineers and non-Catholic engineers.
Yes, you might not understand, but we met somewhere, and the environment was very tense. Then, those good days. Honorable Speaker, the issue of power in this country, the cost of power in this country, is a matter that we need to debate as a country and resolve. Actually, there are two limbs to the debate. One, is the amount of power in this country adequate to power this country and achieve Vision 2030 of being the most industrialized country? That's a debate I'm sure the chair will one day have to come to this house and convince people. Because there have been debates elsewhere that Kenya has got excess power. But the problem is scheduling, because everybody in this country operates within defined hours, known hours. People, households, everybody go to work in the morning, comes in the evening, they overload. All industries work during the day, they don't operate at night, so the load shedding becomes a big issue. Probably as a country, we must get that debate. Secondly, is the reliability, the evacuation of that power from the production point to another point. For example, Honorable Speaker, you are my neighbor, probably you don't suffer this problem because the energy slips in Siaya County. As in Busia, even when it drizzles, power disappears. And disappears for days and days. It can go even for 3, 4 days, continuously. You'll be told long stories, the line is old, the power station has been hit by lightning, those kind of things. So that's a second debate we must have. How can we stabilize power and ensure all parts of the country get power continuously to power the economy of this country? The third issue is the cost of power. When you do literature review, you Google elsewhere, you will be told Kenya, the tariffs in Kenya are some of the highest in Africa. Yet, every day, we have invested in power generation for generations past, for many years. All carrier, we have everything. What baffles everybody, how come the cost of power has never come down to the level that's affordable, that can support this economy? Is it like the banking sector? Is it like the domestic debt in this country that is controlled by cartels that cannot allow it to run by the market forces of demand and supply? Honorable Speaker, as I stand here, I have a very interesting case in my constituency. And I'll again go back to the chair to have a progress report. There are these people called Kudura, the solar-powered people. A company, I think it's a Portuguese company or Spanish company, one of those. Honorable Speaker, can I shock you that the tariffs is about 80 bob per unit, compared to Kenya Power of about 2 shillings per unit. And they went and signed exclusive contract with the Ministry of Energy that where they have gone, where they have established, Kenya Power cannot take their line. You can imagine, Honorable Speaker, the exploitation. And that's why I wholly support the amendment moved by the Super Senator, Edwin Sifuna, to have these matters probably regulated in such a way that there's some kind of dashboard view before these contracts are signed. I can tell you, Honorable Speaker, whenever even that Kudura program, whenever there is little sun that cannot run the whole day, the entire system goes off. because it's dealt with solar. We thought they would have big batteries to store the power, yet that doesn't happen. So, Honorable Speaker, you can never develop a country if you don't have power. When you look, even if you happen to overfly Kenya at night, Kenya is one of the most least lit country, probably in Africa, this part of the world. And that's why, Honorable Speaker, our progress cannot move. Nobody is going to invest in this country in heavy manufacturing where the cost of electricity probably takes almost 40% of the operating costs. So that's why I live with you, the chair. We have had this discussion that there are very many initiatives ongoing. I remember the president somewhere made some remarks how the story just died that way. I hope, Honorable Speaker, Chair, the story is not dead, it's still alive, and I hope at one time or another, this grandiose idea in our hands come to fruition. They should not just become empty rhetoric to massage and excite the audience to be seen how well we can speak in English. Honorable Speaker, this country requires further and serious discussion so that we move forward to the next level, we avoid rhetoric and move forward to the next level. Honorable Speaker, as we move, Honorable Speaker and the Chairman, I want your support here. Some years back, in 2024, there was this last mile connectivity program, that the the funding was renewed. Honorable Speaker, from 2024, the many schemes, even the President himself came to launch in Busia, none of them have ever taken off. The long stories continues. Honorable Speaker, Chair, we have now been branded liars. People who go and tell lies, yet we know very well nothing will happen. Can we get these programs running so that we get the people, wherever they are, they get power? Honorable Speaker, with those very few remarks, because time has run out, I beg to support the bill. I beg to support the committee's proposed recommendations for amendments, and we will do it, the committee of the whole House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, all members. Debate on this bill will continue next time.
Time is up.
It is in the order paper. Order. What's out of order? Time has lapsed. Go ahead. What is out of order, Honorable Gikaria, before we rise?
Honorable Speaker, to be honest, it's only that I know Mheshimiwa Odo is always permanently in the House, but how I wish I would be able to give him an update.
Of course, you know you'll get a chance to reply.
I will do that once, because as he has said, to be
Order.
honest, okay.
You know very well that you had a chance to reply because you're the mover of the bill. So just ensure the day you are replying, your friend, and you call him your brother, who is in the House, so that he can listen to your reply. All members, time now being 7:01 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 24th of February 2026 at 2:30 p.m.